Welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman, the podcast dedicated to helping you build the business of your dreams and live the life you always hoped for, with valuable and fun tips and info to make your life easier and more fun. And now, here's your host, Jason Silverman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. I'm your host, Jason Silverman, and I've got to tell you, I'm pretty darn excited about today's show. Anybody who knows how Dr. Robin and I built the Powerful Words character development system into the number one personal development system for the after-school activity world knows that we really did so by focusing our efforts on marketing in an out-of-the-box sort of mentality. We did an awful lot of blogging, emailing, media releases, but most importantly, we used video. I'm a huge fan of video-based marketing, and, you know, we all know it's very easy to consume. Let's face it, people are much more excited to watch TV than they are to read, and quite honestly, it can be a whole hell of a lot of fun to create it. So when I was thinking about this episode, I wanted to find somebody out there who's totally the real deal in regard to video and SEO strategy and tactics, and I got a winner for you today. We really lucked out, too. Our guest today, David Jenyns, is from Melbourne, Australia. However, he's here in the States for a short while, and I was able to get him to share some of his ultra-valuable time with us today. A little bit of a background on David for you, just so you guys understand who is sharing his time with you. David's impressive entrepreneurial journey begins back in his early 20s when he sold Australia's most loved sporting ground, the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Since then, his business experience spans from developing and franchising retail stores, building multi-million-dollar portfolio of over 500 domains and websites, to turning founding Melbourne SEO services and Melbourne video productions, who together help businesses grow through innovative online marketing systems. Recognized as a high-achieving entrepreneur and online marketer, David has been a keynote speaker at countless conferences and seminars, as well as featured in dozens of publications, including Australian Financial Review and Smart Investor, and other media such as Nova Radio and Channel 9's Today Show. So, David, thank you so much for sharing time with us today. It's an honor to have you here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and really to share some.
Spectacular. All right. Well, do this. You know, obviously, I shared a little bit of your background. Do me a favor, in a minute or less, could you introduce yourself? Let our folks know who you are and, you know, what's your story.
Yeah, okay. I think when I first left school, one of the first things I wanted to do was make as much money as I could. So against the advice of some friends and family, I didn't go to traditional university. I took out a $5,000 loan and those weekend how to trade the stock market courses, the ones that make you a millionaire by minute. And I learned that to trade the stock market you needed money, and all I had was a $5,000 loan, and I was living with my mum in a 2-bedroom flat stacking shelves at a supermarket. And that was kind of, I lost a bit of steam at that point because I really thought I was going to be the next Warren Buffett, and things just weren't quite going to plan. So I had kept in touch with the original group from that trading course that I did, and I found I had a knack for taking complex ideas and concepts and breaking them down into their simplest forms and then teaching others how to do the same. So it started off with helping people use a particular charting package that I just seemed to get almost intuitively, where other people struggle. And we created a home study course to teach people how to get the most from this particular package. And it sold really well in the immediate community. And then once we kind of exhausted that, then I started to realize you can have a really great product, but unless people know it exists, it's not really worth it. So at that point, I said, oh, look, I need to get the word out. And that's when I really became interested in marketing and started to study a lot of the greats, Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham. That was kind of where I got started, and then it kind of crossed over in online marketing stuff as well. So, I mean, that's going back very early 2000s, 99, sort of around that period. And a lot's happened since then. I didn't realize it at the time, but I and I didn't recognize myself as an entrepreneur, but I really was just jumping from opportunity to opportunity. There's obviously the writing of the study guide, opening up some rock and roll clothing music stores, which we franchised. We set up, obviously, Melbourne SEO, Melbourne video production, sold the sporting ground that you mentioned. So there was a whole lot of things that sort of happened between now and then. But at the core of it, really, marketing is kind of what ties all of it together.
Got it. All right. Perfect. Well, I want to pick your brain for everybody's benefit today, really with regard to video. So tell me this: what happened, and why did you start using video marketing to grow your businesses?
I think, well, videos, when I started looking at it, and it still is, it was some of the lower hanging fruit online. I know when I first got into SEO and online marketing, I channeled into SEO, a good number of years back, sort of 4 or 5 years ago, when the window of opportunity was really wide. Now, a lot of competition's come into that space since then, and I now see video as probably that new low-hanging fruit. For a whole variety of reasons, it's quite a leveraged tool. You get a lot of benefit from using video. Obviously, it enables you to duplicate yourself, and I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits, is you almost like to get to can and clone either yourself or your best salesperson, and it can be working for you 24/7. You'll have that video up and people can be watching it for years to come. Some of the original videos that I did, a good number of years ago, are still up, still getting great views, and I've got that lifetime benefit. There's a whole host of other reasons video is a great positioning tool. People get to almost pre-sell themselves or get to know you before they actually get to know you. So a lot of times people, when they'll pick up the phone and make a purchase, they've already been sold on, our services and our products, and it's more of a, hey, they're placing an order, as opposed to going through that sales process, because we use video as a way for that. So, there's just a few things that I touched on there, but video is, I think, at the moment, the lowest hanging fruit, and it's so early in the trend. This is early days. I think as internet speeds pick up, more and more people are expecting to see web video online. It's best to get in front of that trend now.
That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. I always want to be an early adopter. Tell me this: what, strategically and tactically, a lot of what I talk about, both with my coaching clients as well as in our mastermind groups, are the difference between strategic systems and tactical systems. Tactically speaking, as far as what you actually did, how did you specifically use videos in your business?
Well, there's probably about 3 types of videos that we use in our business, and I think every business owner needs these. The first one is to tell your story or about the product and service that you offer. So whether or not you're running a martial arts gym or a regular gym or a small class or something like that, you want a video that shows your place of business, tells your story, why you're unique, and why people would want to work with you and come to your business. I mean, that's probably the first and most important. Then the biggest issue that people have to overcome when doing business with businesses or doing business with anyone when you're online is believing what they say is true, because there's so much noise out there in the marketplace, and there's a lot of rubbish out there as well. It's very difficult for some people to be able to sort those that are the real deal from those that are just fake or not necessarily going to deliver on their promises. So using video to demonstrate proof. So I've been collecting numerous testimonials and feedback and case studies and product demonstrations of different things that we do for years now, and I think that is a great way to use video in business. And then another one that we really like is using frequently asked questions. So oftentimes when someone's looking for your product or service, they've got a question in mind prior to just making that purchase. And once you understand what those questions are, by creating videos that answer those questions and then correctly optimizing them, so that way when people are actively looking for the answer to that question, you come up, they watch a video of you answering that question, you become that trusted advisor, and it's excellent positioning. And then obviously at the end of the video, you kind of lead them back to your website. It's all about having that call to action at the end, which might be, to find out more, or it could be as strong as a call to action straight to sale, depending on what the purpose of the video is. We use videos in a whole variety of ways. They're probably the three most important that I think most businesses use and should use. Another one that's been incredibly effective for us is I'll run a workshop. We usually only run a couple of workshops or a few workshops each year, and I'll record those, and that becomes a seed piece of content that we then use throughout the year. So we might take that workshop, cut it up into 50 pieces, 100 pieces, depending on what we can get from it, and then we load that onto YouTube, optimizing it for particular phrases, and then just snippets. And the call to action at the end is to encourage people to go back to the website and either buy the complete course, or if there's someone who wants to get a bit more of a handheld service or a done-for-you service, then we kind of push them to either or, one of those two. But they're some of the ways that we're using video effectively.
That's spectacular. Okay, that's actually helpful. I want to actually deviate for one quick second on this. Is you mentioned optimizing the videos on YouTube. Would you mind sharing a couple of your SEO ninja type strategies and tactics as far as optimizing a video? And again, folks, if you've never used video-based marketing before, what we're about to ask right now it's important stuff. First things first is going to be to get your videos done. But for those who are already using video marketing, I think this is a really important piece of content. So put down your iPhone and really start taking heavy notes on this.
Yeah. So the first thing that you want to think about is the person that you're looking to hook with that piece of content. If you imagine each video is almost like a piece of bait, and we need to make sure the right bait on the hook to make sure that we catch the right person. So with that in mind, you first start off thinking about, well, who is your target market? Who is that avatar that you're really trying to attract into your business? And then thinking about the conversation that's going on in their mind, and what is it that they're at YouTube for? If you think about what YouTube is really great for, it's people go there when they've got how-to type questions, and they want to know how to do a particular thing. So whether you're a mechanic or you're in a martial arts gym, and maybe it's like how to kick a certain way, or how to type keywords are really quick and easy, good starting point to think of. If you're not too sure what questions or what how-to things people might be looking for, then it's best to just ask your clients. That's usually a good thing, or might already know what are some frequently asked questions that clients are asking to do business with you, and then making video content around those. So once you figure out what that conversation is that's going on in people's mind, then it's a matter of selecting the keywords. Now, keywords in video, they are a little bit different in that you can target slightly more broad keywords. In SEO, we often talk about going for keywords that might have 2 or 3 words in them, or even more. Long tail stuff can be 4 and 5 words long. In video, you can go for shorter phrases. So oftentimes it might be, you can do some keyword research, and we can kind of go down that direction if you want. But I think for most people, to keep it as easy and high level without having to necessarily go too crazy on your keyword research, it's thinking about who your target are, think about what it is that they'd be typing in to YouTube and list out those words, and you want to assign one word effectively to each video, and then make sure that word appears in the title of the video, in the description in the video, and then in your tags. And you can also drop in some additional tags. It doesn't have to just be that one particular keyword phrase that you go after. I mean, that's really high-level stuff, but just doing that is going to get you head and shoulders above a lot of the videos that are out there.
Oh, spectacular. That, folks, for those of you in the know, what you just got was solid gold. So make sure you're implementing on that. David, what I want to do is I want to step back a second because, again, we started at the alphabet at Z, I feel like. If somebody has never used video to market their business yet, would you provide some, what are some of the basic steps that they can and they really should take to get themselves started and started properly?
Yeah. I think the first step is just to get started. The first video that you're going to make is going to be the worst. I look back at some of my early videos and I cringe. They're a little embarrassing. Over time, though, every time you just get that little bit better, So a lot of people use, either a lack of technology skill or whether or not they feel proficient in something as a reason to put it off and doing it. So just getting started is really key. Then don't get too hung up on the equipment. It's really important to make sure that good audio on video, so getting either an external lapel mic or something like that is a good purchase. But you can even just use something like an iPhone, at least just to get started, get the first few going. I also like to think about lighting. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you actually buy lights, but just make sure that your face is lit up. And another easy way to do that is just go out and record it during the day in the sun or when there's light around, and just make sure that the light is on your face. Because that's, see a lot of those videos when people are sort of in a dark room and their face is really hidden, and it kind of comes across as, unprofessional or shady. So you want to think in terms of your iPhone's good enough or a smartphone to get the video. Think about good audio where you can. So if you can get a mic and you can get $20 mic, just think about the lighting there. Some real basics. I wouldn't actually script anything. I'd probably suggest maybe having a few bullet points. Some people think that, when it's their first time, they want to get it just right, so they write out a really lengthy script, and then it just ends up feeling like they're reading as they're doing it. And I mean, we've all seen it when you've watched a video and it just feels like someone is reading from a script and trying to make it sound interesting. But when you think about someone like a professional newsreader, they have been doing that for years. They've practiced and developed their skills, so as they're reading a script off a teleprompter, it feels very natural and like they're doing spoken word. Most other people would benefit from not doing the script and just having a few bullet points. And then probably the final thing that I'd recommend is if you are just getting started out and you have got a little bit of a budget, or you don't even need that much, I would go to a local university and find a university student doing film who wants to get runs on the board, and you might be able to get them for a cheap price or maybe even free just because they want to brush up on their skills. But finding someone who's already got a few of those basics down, I think will end up paying dividends in the long run.
Spectacular. Well, on that point, I got to tell you, normally my wife's a professional speaker, and usually when she's out on circuit, wherever she goes, we'll find somebody either on Craigslist or from a local university and say, hey, listen, we just want you to bring your equipment, video, and provide us with the raw data. I don't need any editing. We have somebody to do that. And it's very, very affordable. So I think that's a great tip as far as finding somebody out there who can do it for them. I know that a lot of my folks, I don't think they're going to go out and hire Spielberg to create their videos. However, I don't think that's necessary. So that's a great tip. Do me a favor. I always love to provide some form of success story to my people, because I think, everything is doable, but it's always valuable to see and hear, what somebody's results are. So do you have some sort of success story that you can share on how you use video marketing so far in your business?
Yeah. One of the ones I really like to point back to is when we started up Melbourne SEO Services. I wanted a way that we could come to the market with a little bit of a bang. There's a little bit of noise in the marketplace at the time when we came to market, and I thought video might be a good way to do it. So we did a Vox pop. So, we went and interviewed just on the street and asked them, and we wanted to compare Google versus Yellow Pages. So we started asking people when they're looking for products and services or local businesses, where do they go, from Google or the Yellow Pages? Because I wanted to find out if they'll just use the Yellow Pages for propping up their monitors, or do they actually use them? And it was a great way to demonstrate the value in our business and what it was that we could provide. So we created this, I think it's about a 3-minute long video, uploaded it to YouTube, used it, we did a press release, and it pretty much exploded. I got a bit of media attention for it. In Australia, we used a press release service that pushed out the video, and then it's run up now. It's close to 30,000 views. We use it as part of our ongoing marketing now at Melbourne SEO Services. It's kind of like one of the lead pieces. We did it as a sticky post on our blog because it very much, it speaks to our target market. It's the business owner who's sick and tired of spending 50 grand on the Yellow Pages without getting any results. And it was the right message for the right time. And a lot of our clients always comment on that video. So that's a good one. We've done lots of other stuff as well. I think just to show the simplicity of video, I recorded a video because I used to do a bit more affiliate marketing. I don't really do it so much these days, but I did a product review for a particular service that I was using. It was like a recurring yearly annual subscription service. And that video now has got over 50,000 views, and it made me one of their top affiliates, and it was purely based off the back of this video because it was ranking really well for the primary keyword of that product plus the word review. And then I gave a really strong offer so people would purchase through my affiliate link. But just a simple product review video, and I know it, to a certain extent I was in the right place at the right time with that particular video because there's a lot of competition in the marketplace for that at the moment. But it just goes to show one video sending the right message at the right time can have a great lifetime value, and still to this day brings in a couple of $1,000s each month for me for work that I did 5 years ago. So video is really powerful, and it's so early days. As soon as someone can embrace it, I think the better.
Got it. One other quick question for you is, and this is something I hear from my coaching members all the time. There are a number of different video sharing services out there. Obviously, we all know about YouTube. Are there any other ones that we should be paying careful attention to?
Not really. I mean, you can. YouTube is the gorilla, and if you think about 80-20, YouTube will give you 80% of the results. There are other ones that you could focus on, but we're finding they're not really worth the effort. I mean, we've tried a lot of syndication. There's some different tools that used to submit through different services, but now, obviously, with YouTube owned by Google, it's so directly integrated into the search. Probably the only exception would be if you're looking for more of a video hosted solution, so something where you're actually hosting video and it's a little less branded. You might look at something. We use Wistia, or there's Vimeo, or Vidler. There's quite a few different services that will enable you to stream video, and then, depending on how you do the SEO with the video, you can actually tie that video to your site and then have it come up in the search engines when people search a particular phrase. I know sometimes when you start to search a phrase and we've all seen videos start to pop up, oftentimes those videos are YouTube, but there are a few things that you can do which increases the chance of your video coming up embedded in on your site, which is better because obviously that means that you're sending the traffic through to your website rather than over to YouTube. So there are, pros and cons for using YouTube versus another sort of more self-hosted platform, but 9 out of 10, and for most businesses that are probably listening right now and business owners, you're going to be better off going YouTube as your focus.
Got it. Okay. Getting into the home stretch here, and one of the things I'd love to ask every single one of my guests is, when you think back over your entrepreneurial journey, what would you say, if you had to give one piece of advice, because a lot of the listeners are, new to the whole entrepreneurial world, what one piece of valuable advice would you give to an entrepreneur to maybe help shorten their learning curve, as they're heading towards success?
I think the best thing that you can do is focus on things that have a leveraged benefit. So something where you'll do work once, but you'll continue to get paid for it for a very long time. So anything where you're kind of like documenting processes and procedures and using things to can and clone yourself. That's one of the reasons why I love video so much. I mean, it is a way to really leverage yourself and can and clone and duplicate. We talk in terms of using it for selling, with reference to a lot of what we've said on this particular call, but video also works excellently well for training your team up and getting some systems and processes in place so that you're not the person having to execute. And it really enables you to step back from your business and does that classic thing Michael Gerber talked about, which was working on your business rather than in business, actually doing the tools. Once you've documented with some procedures and a way of documenting that, it just enables you to step back.
Brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. This has been so helpful. David, obviously, the listeners on this podcast have got to be thinking, all right, I want to learn more. How can our folks find you? How can they? I went through a veritable bazillion different websites, but where would I send people so that they can learn more about you, find out some of the services you offer, and really get even a better, more in-depth feel for who you are? Yeah,
I think the central hub point would be SEOservices.com. So that's MELBOURNE SEO services.com. So Melbourne SEOservices.com, and that links through to a lot of the video stuff that we do and through to my other websites. So it's kind of the best central hub.
Perfect. All right, folks, take a couple minutes and check David out. He's a man who walks his walk, walks his talk, and most definitely is the real deal. So, David, thank you so very much for joining us today. They're great tips, and it's really wonderful to share some time with you.
Pleasure. Thanks for reaching out, Jason. Really enjoyed it.
My pleasure. Well, folks, that's all the time we've got for today. Thanks so much for tuning into The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. For more information about private coaching or to see if you'd benefit from one of our mastermind groups, please visit www.jasonmsilverman.com or email me at jason@jasonmsilverman.com. I look forward to helping you achieve the success you truly deserve. Folks, get out there and make it a very powerful week. Take care, all.
You've been listening to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. To access the great resources mentioned in the show and for information on coaching and mastermind group opportunities with Jason, please visit jasonmsilverman.com.